Imagine surviving not for a day, not for a week, but for more than a year, completely alone in the middle of an endless blue desert. No land, no rescue, no voices. Every sunrise doesn't bring hope. It brings the terrifying realization that you are still lost, still drifting, still fighting to stay alive. This is not just a survival story. This is the journey of a man who vanished beyond the edge of the world and entered a nightmare of slow-motion madness, fragile hope, and raw, primal will. A man who faced the burning sun, circling sharks, and the darkest corners of his own mind for 438 days. Today, you're about to hear one of the most shocking and debated true survival stories ever told. The story of José Salvador Alvarenga, a fisherman who disappeared into the Pacific Ocean and, against all logic, returned over a year later. A story that will make you ask, what are the true limits of the human spirit? In November 2012, off the coast of Mexico, José Salvador Alvarenga, a tough 37-year-old fisherman from El Salvador, was living his dream life in a small fishing village called Costa Azul in Chiapas. He'd fled his home country years ago to escape trouble and built a new life catching sharks. José was known as a party guy, always smiling, but he was a pro on the water. He'd go out for 2 or 3 days at a time, hauling in big catches to sell for 50 cents a pound. On November 17th, José geared up for what should have been a quick 30-hour trip. His usual partner couldn't make it, so he teamed up with a 22-year-old rookie named Ezequiel Cordoba. They loaded their 24-foot fiberglass boat with ice, bait, and fuel. No fancy GPS, just a radio and their skills. They headed 50 miles offshore, chasing sharks, mahi-mahi, and tuna. The fishing was great at first, but then the weather turned ugly. A massive storm rolled in fast, gale-force winds, 10-foot waves crashing over them. Their boat got tossed like a toy. The engine flooded and died. They cut away their fishing lines to lighten the load and tried to bail water, but it was no use. José radioed for help. "We are sinking. Send rescue." His boss heard the call and alerted the Coast Guard, but the storm was too fierce. Search planes flew for 2 days, but with 40-knot winds and zero visibility, they found nothing. By the time the storm cleared, José and Ezequiel were alone, drifting westward into the vast Pacific. No food left except what they could catch, no fresh water, and no way home. They were 280 miles from land, with only an empty ice chest and a broken motor. The nightmare had just begun. How would they survive? Hold on, the suspense is building. The first weeks were pure chaos. José and Ezequiel floated aimlessly, pushed by currents and winds. They tried to fix the engine, but it was wrecked. Their radio battery died after a desperate SOS. No ships, no planes, just blue horizon everywhere. The sun beat down mercilessly during the day, and nights were freezing cold. They huddled under a top for shade and warmth. Food became their biggest enemy. They had no supplies left, so they turned to the sea. José, with his experience, caught small fish with his bare hands, ripping them apart raw. It was slimy and gross at first, he later said, but hunger wins. They ate jellyfish too, but those made them sick. Then came the birds, seagulls landing on the boat, easy to grab. Raw bird meat tasted awful, like chewy rubber, but it kept them alive. Water was even trickier. No rain for days meant dehydration set in. José remembered an old survival trick: drink your own urine. It sounds disgusting, but it saved them. When storms hit, they'd collect rainwater in buckets and the ice chest. But the thrill of survival mixed with terror. Sharks circled the boat, bumping it at night. One time, a huge shark jumped aboard, thrashing wildly. José fought it off with a club, turning it into food. Ezequiel, the young guy, struggled hard. He wasn't used to this life. He got seasick, refused raw food at times, and his spirit broke. José tried to keep morale up, telling jokes and stories about home. They'd spot distant ships and wave frantically, but none saw them. The drama built. Days turned to weeks. Hope faded. By the 1-month mark, they were skinny, sunburned wrecks. But worse was coming. The ocean wasn't done testing them yet. 4 months in, tragedy struck. Ezequiel ate a bad bird, maybe poisoned by plastic or something toxic. He got violently ill, vomiting blood, refusing food. José watched helplessly as his friend wasted away. "Don't leave me," José begged, but Ezequiel whispered, "I'm dying," and passed away. Alone now, José faced the ultimate horror, drifting with a dead body. For days, he talked to the corpse, saying good morning out of habit. The isolation drove him mad. He even considered suicide, staring at his knife. But courage kicked in. José buried Ezekiel at sea, vowing to survive for both of them. Now solo, the struggle intensified. He drifted over 3,000 miles, facing endless storms that nearly capsized the boat. Thrilling moments came when he caught turtles, grabbing them by the flippers, hauling them aboard. He'd drink their blood for hydration and eat the meat raw. Sharks were next. He'd hook them with bird guts, wrestle them in, and feast on their livers, avoiding the poisonous parts. Hallucinations added drama. He saw phantom ships, heard voices calling his name. One night, a container ship passed so close he could see the crew, but his flares were gone, and they didn't spot him. Heartbreak. To cope, José built routines. Morning prayers, his faith kept him going. Fishing at dawn, collecting rainwater. He even made pets out of birds and imagined conversations. But the physical toll was brutal. Scurvy from no vitamins made his gums bleed, salt sores covered his skin, and he lost over 100 pounds. The thrill of near misses kept hope alive. Once, he found a boy with barnacles, scraped them off for food. Another time, garbage floated by. A plastic bottle became a water collector. But months blurred. He counted 15 lunar cycles to track time. By day 300, despair hit rock bottom. Would he ever see land? The ocean's vastness was thrilling yet terrifying. His courage shone through. He refused to give up, singing songs and dreaming of his family. As the 400-day mark approached, José's will was unbreakable. He'd adapted. His boat was a floating home, covered in bird droppings and rigged with turtle shells for rain catchers. He caught triggerfish by luring them with bait, even ate his own toenails for nutrients. Faith played a huge role. He prayed daily, believing God had a plan. I promised I'd make it back, he said. Then, the miracle. On January 29, 2014, after 438 days and over 6,700 miles, he spotted a tiny island, Eben Atoll in the Marshall Islands. Excitement surged, but the boat was stuck on a coral reef. José jumped into the waves, swimming naked, his clothes rotted away, with just a knife. He crawled ashore, collapsing on the beach. Two locals found this wild, bearded man babbling in Spanish. They gave him coconuts and called for help. Rescue teams arrived, shocked. José could barely walk, his body swollen from salt, hair matted like a caveman. Doctors confirmed his story: dehydration, exposure, but no major organ damage. Skeptics doubted at first. How could anyone survive that long? But experts verified the drift path matched ocean currents, and his boat was full of bird bones and turtle shells. José became the first person in history to survive over a year alone in a small boat at sea. His courage turned him into a legend. José's story isn't just thrilling, it's packed with lessons. First, never underestimate human resilience. He survived by adapting, staying positive, and relying on faith. Struggle builds strength. José's ordeal showed that even in despair, hope can pull you through. For you, the viewer, prepare for the unexpected. If you're boating, pack emergency kits with water purifiers, flares, and satellite phones. Learn basic survival skills, like catching rainwater or identifying edible sea life. Appreciate simple things: a hot meal, fresh water, family. José returned to El Salvador, reunited with his daughter he hadn't seen in years. He wrote a book, 438 Days, to share his tale. But here's a big one: mental toughness matters most. José fought loneliness with routines and imagination. In your life, face challenges head-on, whether it's a job loss or personal crisis. Build courage daily. If this story inspired you, hit that like button and subscribe for more real-life survival epics. Share in the comments, what's your biggest takeaway? Could you survive at sea? Check out José's book or the document. Remember,